Today we are here with Michael Wesley. He's an IT specialist out of Virginia Beach Public Schools. Michael, thank you so much for coming to the podcast.
Hey, thanks for asking me around.
Can I call you Mike or is it Michael?
When I went back to the education, everyone calls me Michael now.
Interesting. My mom's name is Michelle, but she goes by Mike.
Hey,
one of the first, and her sisters actually are Jack and Andy. I wonder what her dad was thinking. Anyway, long story short, we're at FETC 2026. We're talking tech. Why are you here?
This is what fills my cup. Being here and meeting all my other tech friends from across the country and getting to talk to them. This is 2-minute conversations down the conference hall that you was like, oh my gosh, I didn't think about that. And I can flip it into something different. And there's so many ideas floating around. But here we have those conversations that are
You have
gold
time.
nuggets. Yes, we do.
I think that just the freeing up of time alone for someone embedded in the school system, that alone is such a value add. What has been some of the cool things you've seen in the very early stages of this conference?
Oh, there's been so many cool things. One of the things I'm presenting on one of the cool things. So
Very cool. Talk to us about that.
So, when I get a problem, I try to think of it. How do I make something fun? Because that's my motto in education. How do I make it fun? And what I did was this year was like, we have to get kids to write because there's a writing test that they have to improve their score on. And I was like, well, that's great, but how do we make it fun?
Yeah.
So we basically opened up a book creator book where we kept their information and, they were writing on the story, just a free form creative, but we leveled it up and they need feedback to grow. And the only way to get them feedback, if you do it like 5 minutes of a kid in a classroom, in 25 kids, that's 2.5 hours of feedback. Writing is cut to the side always. There's math, there's language arts, you have your content, but writing doesn't get but a small fraction of the time. But how are kids going to grow on that? How is the teacher going to find that extra 30 minutes a day doing just a few kids each day? It's hard. So what the kids have learned, and I'm working with 3rd grade right now, they're copy and pasting their work out of Book Creator and putting it into School AI, and they're using the writing feedback tool. So I've designed it a little bit and then added some gamification to it. So when they get it out, the output will actually tell them they scored on a level of 1 to 10. So their goal is they always like to get to 10. And once you bring anything into gamification, you have that benefit where you don't have to fight them. They want to write. They want to expand their stories. School AI is designed to give them the score. Then it gives them 3 to 5 suggestions of feedback of what it could be. So then they copy and paste it. The kids figured this out on their own. They copied and pasted the feedback into their book creator book and as they took things off the list, they would just delete it. So their writing went from pulling teeth to like this to like a whole page of text, and they keep going back. And in one, the students got a 9 on it, and it said the interface said, "Did you want to celebrate or would you like to work some more?" And said, "I think I'd like to celebrate." "Well, you did a great job. Thank you." "Oh, thank you." And so they're getting the feedback, they're getting the engagement, and it's like not replacing the teacher, because then the teachers can take that data, run it through AI, and then can ask for grows, anecdotal notes for each student, as well as getting them for the whole entire class. In addition to that, they can have AI group it. Like, what kids, I'm working on this week, what kids need to know this? She can target 5 kids at the same time and have them come back for their 5 minutes and just save 20 minutes. So, and then can go back and change the data and ask whatever it wants from that.
And that's the, Thinkering, we're all about kind of the humanization of education. We're 100+ organizations across the world, research universities, ed tech companies, educators, consultants, all across the board. And we're always thinking about that human lens, right? Of course, when you come to a conference like this, all you hear about is AI, but how are we using AI in the sense of allowing for more meaningful human moments? I wish more people would see through the kind of fear to understand that processes like you're developing that provide, I think, educators the data they need to be very prescriptive in their solutions. And I think that the more data we can aggregate authentically, just like with AI products like you're talking about, the better our learners will be served, because you as an educator, IT specialist, you actually know the learners within your classroom. So let me ask you this. When you're coming here and you love, I'm sure this isn't your first FETC, is it?
No.
No. So you're coming here. What are you looking for? Are you looking for new products? Are you just you said it earlier, trying to keep your nose to the grindstone and understand the market? What are we really looking for here as an IT specialist?
for myself.
Yes.
I'm, initially when I started to come, it was like looking around and seeing other presenters present those ideas, learning from them. And then as you develop, you become beyond, you are the idea in a person, and it's harder to find sessions to go to. So it becomes a networking event. So for me, I love networking because now when I have a problem, I can call people and I know what their specialties are. I know exactly what they are good in. Like they're good in this platform, they're good in that platform. So I can reach out to them, and it's levels up beyond just engagement from Twitter or LinkedIn or something like that.
Which ends up not being too personal, right? I think I always say like the best business deals aren't done on a virtual call. They're done face to face, just like the best education isn't done on a virtual call. It's done face to face, where the nuance of human behavior has such a dramatic impact. I love the fact that you're representing what a school system that is close to home, a challenging school system, Virginia Beach Public Schools. What would you say, in Virginia Beach and in the public environment that you're working within, what are the biggest challenges to rolling out new technology in your schools?
Well, lately it has been a lot of politics. But before I was an explorer.
Politics.
Yeah.
Come on.
I was an explorer, and we were able to go outside box, and I had a leadership that was amazing and saying, let's figure out what this tech classroom was 15 years ago when Stacey Rashan was writing her book about it. We were living it, and we figured it out. There was a lot more outside the box, but there was also some growth in what we needed more of, and we did. And I was lucky to work in a system that didn't shut everything off to prevent stuff, let it open, and dealt with it as it came, because it got to the point where there's you have to run too many things off at the pass.
Yeah.
So it was impossible. So thankfully I was in that district. Now they've reeled AI back a teeny bit, and they've defined it. And now we're moving forward with those guardrails on there. But it's a K-12 initiative in our district.
Yeah, and it has to be, man. As we all know, I think, when talking about Virginia Beach Public Schools specific, one of the things that we love to do is to empower educators to pull off amazing capstone projects through our fellowship that are all centered around humanizing education. So you talked about red tape a little earlier. This is kind of a magic dream world that we're about to enter into. But if there was no red tape, if you had unlimited budget, right? What would be the first thing that you did in your position for the learners, teachers that you work with?
Well, it's a top-down initiative, so I would probably, I have a big plan already.
Most people do. That's what we find, right?
Yeah, you're saying unlimited budget?
Yeah.
Right. I would find probably my top 10 leaders that were open-minded to this kind of change, and I would get those principals, and I would feed their brains and let them see all of this, and then develop these schools where other schools could come tour and see everything going on the way it could be going on, and how these teachers are working with these platforms to engage students. Because when you're doing it, even though there's AI, there's the humanization part, because like my conversations after all of that AI, and that's my lens on their work, I am able to take it to the next level and have a deeper conversation with them, in addition to everything else.
Yeah.
But my budget would go training the principals, building the schools out, and then training the staffs, because teachers get drive-by training.
You're so right.
Here's an hour. Okay, you're trained. I'm from the corporate world. I was originally a corporate convert in the late 90s. I was like in that way of getting out of the corporate world and going into education. And now it seems to be reversed. But training the teachers then.
It's so interesting.
Solid training for teachers.
Yeah, which is the hardest challenge, is a teacher left like, hey, but I have 10 questions, and that trainee or trainer, if you will, has left an hour ago.
Or with lots of documents and a website link.
Yeah, and I think we also experience this adding things on to teachers, every day, and not taking things away. School systems are like so notorious for that move of like, try these new 2 tech tools. And you're like, but that's the same as these 2. They're like, no, try it. And then now you have 4 tools, and teachers, I'm sure, get super confused because they're like, well, there's 9 different AI chatbots. Which one do I use?
And where's the training?
Where's the
And
training?
where's the training? And
Yeah.
where's the training? I was like, I'm okay with having a lot of tools because this one's good for this one's good for this one's good for this. They did the same thing, but this one does it a little differently.
Yeah, it's like
That's nice to know.
giving a carpenter a hammer that's never used a hammer before and
Yeah,
thinks you're
yeah.
supposed to use it as a screwdriver.
And it's hard to get that out there. It
No,
was really cool.
You're absolutely right. And I think one of the things that you said, which is so, so true, is, if we can get training into schools appropriately, we can actually reframe. And I love that you called out like actually having schools to show examples, because I do think that that's the unlock. I think you don't know what you don't know. And if you can go into an environment and see, like, Michael is using this AI tool to get an assessment on a child, but then taking that as a piece of information of a larger picture to actually assess that child, rather than, hey, let's do some AI-driven worksheets, which tends to be the number one way in which we see AI within classrooms. Yet there's so many other, amazing things that AI can do. Kudos to you. Kudos to you. Any other speaking engagements here that people can check out?
I'm actually doing another one with Barbara Ray
Very
tomorrow.
cool.
And we're doing a joint session about bringing joy and the spark of joy back into the classroom.
Just by sitting next to Michael, I got a little bit more joyful, to be honest with you. And joy is needed in the classroom because, one of my things in the schools that I run and op, we have this thing of like, there's the classic, like, leave your shit at the door kind of stuff. But more so, it's for me, be the learner that you want to see in the classroom.
Yeah.
Show up in a positive, kind, empathetic, caring way, and you won't have war in your classrooms. I always joke, because I work in early learning, teachers go to the teacher's lounge, or for us, it's like we have a little area they go to, and they're Timmy this, and they're complaining. And I'm thinking, are you telling on a 3-year-old? Like, they're just 3. They don't have any intention of action. You're getting salty and angry. 1, because they're probably angry already coming into that classroom. And then 2, it's getting magnified because they're bringing that energy into the space. I love that you're focused on joy. And I love that the 2 things that you have done here have all been centered around that. Yeah. If anybody wants to find your work online, where can they find you, Michael?
Most of my portfolio was on Twitter when it was Twitter. I've branched out into LinkedIn.
Got it.
So I'm on both of those, and I still post on both of them. So working on that.
Phenomenal. Go find the work that Michael's doing for schools. We thank you so much for your time today. Really appreciate it. And from FETC 2026, this is Thinkering Voices. We'll see you very soon.